Hello. So we're here in round 3 of the Mox Championship. I'm on the draw on this one. Now this hand, it's a bit difficult because although I have like my bombs, like Una's the bomb, Party Dragon's just a good card. It just doesn't have enough to buy time. Like if I had a Rift Bolt and MT, I probably would have kept this. But on the draw, this feels a little too slow, so I'm gonna mulligan this. That might be incorrect, but I'm definitely keeping this. With Una, I will get a island. Now, normally I get a plains for Lightning Helix, but my opponent is playing Reach Through Mist and Sealed. He possibly has. He might play like I do, where there's some value, or he might actually have the actual nut decks in Sealed. I think it's the value deck. So here, I could kill the Blight Speaker. I think I'm just gonna play the Pirate Spell Bomb, because that's a known quantity. Yeah, I have to kill the Blight Speaker now. Just don't give him any value on it. It might have been correct to use the Glacial Ray instead, but like simply because having the Spell Bomb in play is a threat, and I can always draw a card later, but Lightning Helix. I am not evoking Mall Drifter. I think that card advantage is just too important. Yeah. Now my opponent's undefeated with this deck, and he hasn't really done much apart from that Blight Speaker, so not sure what he has. Yeah. So he needs lands. I have no clue what my opponent's playing. I suspect it might be some version of Rebels, like blue-black. I'm gonna light cycle this now, just to hit my land drop. It makes sense. Get the plains. Hopefully he doesn't play a Maloku. If he does, I can still kill it, but it's not obviously great. So, wow, he's solidly 3 colors? Like, Sanctum Gargoyle. I guess that's awkward. I am definitely going to be playing some Relic of Progenitus post sideboard. I'm not killing the Gargoyle now. That might be wrong. But his deck probably has another Gargoyle, and I don't really want him to start chaining those for no reason. Let's see what I can get here. Wow. Literally almost all burn spells. Okay, so now Lightning Helix seems perfectly acceptable. Let's see what he does. Dream Spoiler Witches. Yeah, that seems like almost a better target. Let's see. I could wait until I get an Arcane for the Glacial Ray. I think using 1 Helix is okay here. I have like so many free damage burn spells. The alternative is I could... So I'm cycling this. Let's see. I'm definitely cycling this for an island. So at that point, I can only play one burn spell. That might have been incorrect. I should have maybe just attacked first and see what happens. Now I do realize he has a nade for Spell Bomb, so I'm actually gonna Rift Bolt the Dream Spoiler Witches. Like, I definitely want the life gain from Helix, so if he wishes to bounce it, he bounces it. I mean, it also avoids me walking into like a Spellstutter Sprite. So yeah, he can save the Dream Spoiler Witches, but at least that expands the Spell Bomb now. And yeah. Yeah. So he decides to not use the Spell Bomb here. He sees that too important to save, say, a Gargoyle. Like, the loop of Gargoyle and Spell Bomb is quite decent. Lots of open mana. I'm just going to attack first. And seeing the mana that's left open, I don't really feel like casting a creature here. I feel like passing the turn and having like Lightning Helix and Glacial Ray up. End of turn, if he casts nothing, I'm going to Lightning Helix this. So yeah, time to Lightning Helix this card. Now, it seems a bit weird to be that slow, but it's always worthwhile to wait. Like, he could always have something very strange, like, maybe not a dragon, but, oh, he's got a Echoing Truth or something of that nature. Spellstutter Sprite. So I definitely read the Spellstutter Sprite correctly. The good news is I can kill... The good news is I can kill this Spellstutter Sprite, which means that he can't really counter the Helix. Unless he has like the third Spellstutter Sprite. Here I'm just going to cast the Ephemeron. Like, I don't need mana open and... Okay, so double Spellstutter Sprite is pretty important to know about. But I want to cast Ephemeron so that if he has removal, he uses it on Ephemeron rather than my Una. I'm slightly concerned at the lack of rares I've seen so far. Because it means he probably still has, like, the strong spells in his deck still somewhere hidden. No, I haven't shown... I mean, I've shown Lightning Helix and Muldrifter, but... Otherwise, it's just common burn spells. That's pretty good though. Like using one Glacial Ray to trigger a Spellstutter Sprite, and then he then just has a 1/1 flash. I'm quite happy about having cast a Rift Bolt when he had the Dream Spoiler Witches. Yeah, so yeah, as I suspected, the Death Rattle. Yeah, he's not going to remove any of the artifacts. Just the useless cards. Yeah. He might have Latchkey Fairies, in which case this attack was bad, but... actually, he probably has Latchkey Fairies. Just because it's the only card that makes sense where he doesn't play a lot of spells till now. I would see at least one Latchkey Fairy here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't have them, but... Oh, wow, he doesn't. We're going to attack with Muldrifter. Time to play my dragon. Wow, okay. It's interesting my opponent doesn't... He might have something like an Aether Snipe as well. Which would explain why he hasn't done much so far. Like, he's not going to bounce a Muldrifter. Although, if he had Aether Snipe, he would have killed the Ephemeron. He might have just played the Aether Snipe. Now, if he's playing free colors like this, he might... I don't know. Like, all these colors seem... Like, he seems to be solidly in blues and solidly in black. Horobi's Whisper. That explains the Reach Through Mist we've seen. So that's 5 mana up for a counterspell. Well, with Pestermite, I'll definitely be casting Una. Now, I remember that there's Take Possession in this format, so I'm actually going to Fireball right away. Just save time. And, you know, don't walk into that kind of effect. It's tough to say. I'm going to say blue is probably my likely best target. But, you know, I could very easily miss. Let's see what I exiled. I exiled a Latchkey Fairy and a Bound in Silence. So if he has to take possession, I mean, I can kill my own Una, which is a 3-for-1 in his favor, but hey, it's probably better than giving him Una. So yeah. It just seems he's solidly in free colors. Oh, and I win the game because he has no removal. So Horobi's Whisper seems to have been his last removal spell. Okay. If he's playing fairies... definitely playing Relic. Progenitus, I suspect, here. Explosives is not great. I mean... There's also Sudden Shock. If he's playing fairies, I want ways to kill small creatures, which I have in spades, so... Dismisser becomes a lot worse. Like, seeing his deck, Dismisser's probably terrible. It's obviously removing a creature, but... I got Dismisser in the deck for the effect more than anything, so... Let's see. Keep the Relic in. And I can board in the Sudden Shock. I'm on the draw, so maybe board out the Traumatic Visions for a Sudden Shock. I would like an extra cantrip, and that Sudden Shock doesn't seem too bad. Now you can counter this with Spellstutter Sprites. I'll burn through that quite fast if I potentially. But I definitely want more ways to shock my opponent's creatures, so I think this is fine. I haven't seen anything to dismiss, like. But yeah, Relic of Progenitus seems decent against him, like against Delve, Horrorbee's Whisper, Sanctum Gargoyle. Definitely seems like one of the better cantrips. Now, Molten Disaster is probably quite bad, but seeing as it doesn't... It only stops my empty, so I think it's fine. Echoing Truth might be good against the Bound in Silence. Especially because he has Blight Speaker, but I think this is fine. Like, I can empty for a lot as well. I think I keep this hand because of how much I can draw, but it's very risky. I think it's between the Reach and between the Ephemeron and the Relic. I think I keep this, but it might be completely incorrect. I'll make a note of that now. Let's see. I'm just gonna draw now. Oh well, it's still a land. I'm not gonna complain. Let's see. Suspend Ephemeron for sure. Okay, so even if I miss a land drop, suspending an Ephemeron's probably still more powerful. Especially with my opponent being a bit... that's bad for me. That Bone Splinter could become a problem as well. Let's see. He could have Spellstutter Sprite. I don't feel inclined of walking into Spellstutter Sprite. First for Knowledge. That's pretty good. Sorry, I said it stopped just in case he had Spellstutter Sprite, because I have to kill that thing now. Capsule, that seems okay. And if he gets like the Gargoyle, that is a lot of card advantage. Yeah, that is pretty good. I'm probably going to kill the Gargoyle. Let's see. I could kill it now, I could kill it later. I can always as well suspend the Rift Bolt, which seems quite good if I have empty. Yeah, suspend Rift Bolt seems good. I got a Mountain. That's a very good draw here. So I'm going to suspend Rift Bolt and cast Relic of Progenitus. Simply because my plan here is to empty for as much as I possibly can. So the way to do it is to encourage potentially a counterspell of some sort. So let's see. I'm gonna cast the mountain. Play the mountain. Suspend the Rift Bolt. And play the Relic of Progenitus with Helix mana up, in case something very strange happens. It might be I shouldn't have used the Relic now, but I think it's okay. But here the plan is definitely to empty for max. Yeah, equips it. Take 4. Plays a Blight Speaker. I'm thinking here about it. He's gonna Executioner's Capsule. I really need to kill this Blight Speaker now. I can't really wait, so I'm gonna Lightning Helix it. Just take no risk. Actually, let me just remove a card from his graveyard first. Doesn't change much, but... that Blight Speaker can't live. Let's see what happens here. Very good card, but obviously doesn't help my Storm. The alternative as well is, because I only have Storm 2, is I could just Relic here and try to empty another turn. Because removing his graveyard actually doesn't seem too bad. Because I still have an Ephemeron for next turn. I want to get rid of that graveyard, so I gotta do this. If I draw a land, I empty. If I don't draw a land, ooh, this is good, because I can use that to get a land now, and then basically next turn goes Spellbomb into empty. So it's the same thing, just a turn later. I think I want to remove the Gargoyle in the Capsule. Like, if he's playing Gargoyle and Capsule in his deck, I'm suspecting he has another Gargoyle in the deck somewhere, so... And now that he's going to kill the Ephemeron, that's going to generate a huge Storm count. Because he probably has a removal spell. Land doesn't really matter here. I mean, unless I draw into Manamorphose, doesn't change much. Yeah, so he casts Horby's Whisper. That's another spell. So, I've burned through quite a bit of burn spells. And he does have a lot of... I think I'm just going to cast Aspire Spellbomb and see what happens. He might have a Latchkey Spellstutter Sprite, but if he does, then that just means more goblins. Yeah. So, I know this is going to happen. That was definitely potentially expected, and I can empty for a lot now. Now I have 10 goblins. And he either has an Echoing Truth or something important here. Because this is going to just destroy him. Unless he has Echoing Truth. If he does, he does, I mean. I'm still, if he has that Queen's Truth, I'm still okay. I can still like Muldrifter, play a Muldrifter, have a Partick Dragon as well. Ah, does not attack, which is interesting. Maybe I should have played the line in case I'm Muldrifter, but like I could have Muldriftered and drawn into an Expanse, but hey, let's see what happens here. He probably doesn't have Echoing Truth. He would have just played it and attacked. Yeah, attack with all those goblins. Yeah. I think I'm going to Muldrifter here. He probably has like a removal spell. Ah, Scion of Una. Well, I'm definitely Muldriftering then. Just because I can draw into Lightning Helix. Or some other removal spell. And kill the Scion and kill the Spellstar as a result. As I predicted, the Expanse happened. So yeah. That teaches me a lesson. Skeletal Vampire. That's awkward. Take Possession's pretty good. Allows me to just take the Vampire. This is what I'll do. This is basically now a burn spell. Like so I'm gonna take Possession of the Vampire, because then he's in a very tough spot. He still has the bats, obviously, but hey. Let's see what he does to this. Yeah, so he's just going to trade off his army. Wow, not the Scion. Interesting. Now I'm guaranteed to win, unless he has some way of gaining life because of the Molten Disaster. Like, this is basically now direct damage, and I can split second it. But nah, he can't beat this. So yeah, it was good to... There was good to wait for the Empty the Warrens. Just wait a turn. And instead of making 6 goblins, I ended up making like 10. Which was pretty good here. So yeah, that was round 3. So 3-0 right now. I'll see you for round 4.